name is Cary Goldstein, and I'm a paid search account director at JumpFly, where I've been working for 12 years now.
So what initially drew you to marketing, and how did that journey lead you to JumpFly?
Well, that's a great question. And what actually drew me to both marketing and JumpFly was being personally recruited by someone who I had known for years, one of the founding partners. Going back 12 years, JumpFly was in a growth phase, and they were looking for folks that had experience really in account management, in customer engagement. That was a role I had been fulfilling elsewhere in a different industry, working with very sizable customers. So they felt like that skill set could be a good fit. And eventually, after numerous conversations, I was convinced to give this a try. Haven't looked back since.
So when you first joined, what were you doing in terms of PPC projects? Like, were you working on just Google? Were you working on any other platforms? And how has that evolved to what you're doing today?
So in the beginning, I came on board as an account manager, and I spent most of my time actually implementing adjustments in the Google Ads and Microsoft Ads platforms, daily optimizations. And over time, as my role evolved to account director, I now am primarily responsible for overarching strategy development, main point of contact with all of our customers, and have a team that works with me who now handles the majority of the daily optimization and account maintenance.
So when you've been working on these projects, did you develop a skill that maybe you didn't think you would?
Well, I would say taking multitasking to the next level. So, as an example, we're working on at least 3 screens, sometimes 4 screens simultaneously. And that's not something I would have envisioned for myself, but something that I would say we've gotten quite proficient at over the years.
So over these years of working, you've developed different approaches and strategies. Is there a unique approach or strategy that you've developed yourself that you've been able to implement on your daily basis that's helped clients grow, and something that you've shared with JumpFly?
Well, I would say that there is no standard approach to overcoming any issue. Really, everything we do is custom tailored to meet the specific business needs of our clients. One example of an approach we customized for one of our enterprise size clients, who they had extraordinary amounts of seasonality with certain product lines. And so this wasn't your typical, we peak at holiday season and let's make sure we're managing the budget accordingly. And so one of the things we did was we put together a plan in reviewing several years of historical data, and basically established weekly budget targets. So through comprehensive forecasting and tracking during their peak period, where seasonality was not only bringing strength to demand, but there was volatility from week to week, we were able to help really take full advantage of the opportunity during that time period.
So you can say that when you develop these strategies, you learn over time how your clients grow and evolve. And you can say that you've seen these clients really shoot up, that you've seen their business grow.
Yeah, and what's nice is then we learn from that was an opportunity to establish something new and something custom. And the next time we see a similar set of circumstances, we have a tool at our disposal that is tried and true, already proven.
So I want to get into the company JumpFly itself. You've been part of this company for a long time, and you've seen more people come in, and it's established a really good culture here. Tell us about that culture and what stands out to you about it.
From day one, I would say I found it to be a very nurturing culture. In corporate America, sometimes it's a much more cutthroat environment. Everyone is doing whatever they can to get ahead within an organization. At JumpFly, everybody is focused on helping newcomers develop and succeed, because we recognize that the success of our organization depends on the success of every team member. And so, it's just a very, very supportive environment.
So you could say that with this supportive environment, with this big group of experts and what people could bring to the table, you could say those are big talking points on why clients should choose JumpFly as their marketing agency. Why else should they choose JumpFly to work with them?
Well, one thing I would say is that we really strive to become more than just a preferred vendor or even a valued partner for our clients, but rather to be considered as an actual extension of their organization where they feel like we're sitting right across from them in their office. We invest the time necessary to make sure we thoroughly understand their business needs and goals in order to ensure that everything we do on our end is as closely as aligned with those specific needs as possible.
So obviously, communication is key with your clients and maintaining that kind of relationship and that communication line. How do you maintain that? What is the best way you maintain communication and that type of relation with your customers, especially for the ones that have been around for a number of years?
So one thing that we strongly emphasize is timeliness in communication. As an example, when we get a customer inquiry, we do our very best to get back to them literally within an hour. Many of my clients, if I'm not on another call at the moment, will hear back from me within 10 to 15 minutes. Obviously, we don't necessarily have a solution or a resolution, but simply acknowledging receipt of their inquiry and making sure they understand that we are working on it and giving them a sense of time frame. All of that helps instill a high degree of credibility.
Now, your clients know you as Cary, but some people here might know you as Puma. Can you explain why?
I certainly can. It's an interesting story, actually. So way back in the beginning, literally year one, maybe my second client, maybe the very first I was handling on my own. We set up an introductory call to get to know and understand the client's needs. And this particular advertiser offered Segway tours in the Chicago area. And so we get on the call and I am asked to roam the jungle like a puma, fiercely eliminating his competition. This was his opening line as we talked about his goals and his needs and what he was looking for out of a digital advertising agency. So I really got to know what he meant by that as the relationship developed. And interestingly, really what he was looking for, he wanted to eliminate the competition from the search results. So for him, and this is a good example of the importance of really understanding your client's specific goals. It's never safe to assume every client is looking for the same thing, which could be more revenue or more website visits or more customers. In this case, he was very clear that he needed to be number one or number two in the search results at all times, thereby eliminating visibility for his competition. And even after numerous conversations where I would explain, we can do more for you. We can get you more traffic within your budget. We can get you more customer signups. He said he understood that wasn't the goal of the mission. And so as I explained that conversation to colleagues at the time, the nickname was born. And even to this day, you'll hear it referenced from time to time around the office.
So when you have these special kind of success stories and you share them, it can help really build your confidence, right? In going with other people and talking with other people. Is there any other specific success stories that you have that you'd like to share?
I would say one of the greater success stories experienced since the beginning was a new brand came to us. They had not done any digital direct-to-consumer advertising at all. They used affiliate programs and other channels, but they had this brand new Google Ads account that hadn't been used, and they asked if we could start with what was a relatively modest budget for an organization of their size. It was about $10,000 a month. And we started advertising exclusively on their brand just to see if we could get traction. After the first month, They doubled the budget. They began to ask for an expansion to specific product lines. And so we took a very strategic and measured approach to expanding product line by product line until we reached a point where we were covering everything they had to offer. At that point in time, through much of the success through digital advertising, they were able to fund some accelerated expansion then through acquisition. And they began purchasing other entities that manufactured similar products. And so this continued on over the course of many years to the point where ultimately we were spending several $100,000 a month productively from very modest beginnings.
That's pretty exciting. Now, everything is changing constantly in the world of marketing and digital advertising, PPC. Knowing this and the experience that you do have working with clients, working with Google, working with Bing, with all these different platforms, somebody's getting into PPC for the first time. What kind of advice can you give somebody just coming into this world for the first time?
As an advertiser?
Mm-hmm.
So we do experience that with new clients who still are just first getting into the game. And really, it's a matter of ensuring that you take a very incremental approach. Start by helping identify the products that are most important to them. And so you just initially focus on those things that have the greatest potential to generate the highest profit margins if they're e-commerce. Start to build the foundation with the strongest pillars and then gradually expand from there. And so usually with our new clients, we're always going to have a plan that includes the short term, first 30 to 60 days, and then what kinds of things we think we'll be talking to them about beyond that, 60 days to 120 days. And then ultimately, like what kinds of things might be included in the long term.
So is there a trend or innovation right now that's in the industry that you're particularly excited or intrigued about and you kind of want your clients to know about it too?
Well, I would have to say the growing impact of AI. That's an emerging technology that affects so many aspects of what we do. Fortunately, at JumpFly, the importance of that was recognized very early on, and immediately they established an internal AI committee to help ensure that we were able to stay on top of this emerging technology and use it to its full capacity. And again, it's really still in its infancy stage. So I would expect that to be the driving force behind a lot of change in the near term, midterm, and well beyond.
Cary, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.